JayZ is setting Diddy up.
Jay goes, let's get it straight. Nobody's afraid of 50 Cent.
I want everyone to be clear. No one's scared of 50 Cent.
At that point, his safe presentation, even the glasses, what the glasses represent? Intelligence, right? A nerd, maybe? What are some of the things that come along with you being a nerd? Like, don't hit a guy with fly. He's not identifying with the transition and difference in the perception of JayZ. Now he's really safe, and people feel comfortable with him because they know he's not going to do anything inappropriate or try not to. Meanwhile,
Diddy and JayZ, they was close enough that they wasn't playing basketball, they wasn't playing baseball, they wasn't playing football, and they wasn't playing hockey or soccer for Diddy to come on stage, pat him on his ass, and then make the statement to people in the world that can't nobody call me Sean but JayZ.
A new wave of public speculation is building, and this time, it is not stopping at Diddy. What started as years of pointed comments from 50 Cent towards Sean Combs is now being read by many as something much larger. People are beginning to see it as a challenge aimed at the entire network of powerful relationships that surrounded Diddy for years, a network that may now be facing the kind of scrutiny it has never had to deal with before. And sitting right at the center of that expanding conversation is JayZ. For a long time, JayZ's name floated in the background of these discussions, present, but never fully pushed into the spotlight in any direct way. He was widely considered too well protected, too carefully managed, and too deeply established for anyone to successfully pull him into the same public storm engulfing Diddy. But based on how 50 Cent has been positioning himself and signaling publicly, a lot of people now believe that protection may not be as solid as it once appeared. That is what makes this moment feel different from anything that has come before. Because 50 is no longer treating Diddy as a single isolated case. He is pointing toward a larger structure, one that many observers believe connects JayZ, Beyonce, and even Oprah. Not through formal accusations against each of them, but through long-standing closeness, shared influence, overlapping elite social circles, and the widely held belief that these figures have operated inside the same protected world for a very long time. Once 50 began suggesting that the Diddy documentary might only be the opening chapter, people immediately started asking the obvious follow-up. If Diddy was just the beginning, who does 50 believe comes next? That question gained serious momentum after a widely discussed "you're next" moment spread across social media, with many interpreting it as a direct signal aimed at JayZ and Beyonce. When you place that alongside years of public tension, private rivalry, and repeated hints at unseen material connected to that same inner circle, the whole thing starts to feel less like celebrity drama and more like an actual warning. And if 50 is serious about following through, what the public is watching right now may not be the conclusion of the Diddy fallout. It may be the opening of something far wider.
Produced a documentary about Diddy that he's apparently been working on for a decade. And it has episodes. I've never hated someone for episodes. That's why every person I've ever hated has been a very short story. I'm just like, oh, we don't really get along, feel like they betrayed me, and that's about it. 50 Cent sat the world down for 4 episodes. This is crazy. 4 episodes. With some of the most, this is some of the best footage I've seen in a documentary, because what they did, this is insane. This is fundamentally crazy, okay? The documentary starts with Diddy in a hotel room talking to his staff and his lawyers about what to do about this like incoming indictment, right? It's like 5 days before he gets arrested, right? And as I'm watching this, I'm like, that's curious, because this is 50 Cent's documentary about Diddy, yet there's a camera in Diddy's hotel while he talks to his lawyers. He's talking to his lawyers about a strategy on what to do, like a game plan. How did 50 did 50 Cent get this footage? Is he in disguise? How is he in the room for this thing? And then this dude's like on the phone. Diddy is on the phone and he's talking about how we need to be aggressive, we need to come back. He literally says we need to get like the dirtiest, most like expert propaganda we can out there, which, okay, insane to say on camera, a camera I think you know is there. That's wild. I just had this question in my head of like, how did they get this footage? Turns out that Diddy was making a documentary and he had started recording everything because this documentary was going to be about like his comeback, right? So he's like covering everything himself, recording everything himself, so he has his point of view out there, right? So then he was going to make a documentary. He thought he was going to beat everything and then make a documentary, release that documentary, and then get everyone on his side again. And now you have to ask yourself, how did 50 come into the possession of Diddy's footage for Diddy's documentary about Diddy? This is crazy because he's making a documentary himself, but then he took that documentary. Apparently what happened was that Diddy did go to jail and then he couldn't pay the cameraman. So then 50 was like, I'll pay the cameraman. And Diddy is such a terrible person. He is such a terrible person that even in the documentary he was making about his comeback, it makes him look so bad that 50 didn't need to edit any of it. It literally... He already said on a camera he knew was there, we need to get the dirtiest, like, most filthy expert propaganda we can out there. That was for his documentary.
Fans have been connecting these dots for a while now, largely because 50 Cent has spent years suggesting that JayZ does not simply exist near powerful circles. He quietly reinforces and protects them. That belief carries more weight today than it ever has, because 50 has already demonstrated that he can take speculation mainstream through documentary filmmaking, public humor, and carefully timed online moves that consistently attract attention. His history with JayZ goes back to the early 2000s, when what appeared to be ordinary music industry competition began to feel much more personal and ideological. Over time, the two men went in completely opposite directions. JayZ became the composed, low-profile billionaire, moving through corporate boardrooms, elite social events, and executive circles with carefully controlled visibility. 50 Cent built his influence the opposite way: loud, confrontational, and always willing to drag private tensions into public view. That contrast matters now more than it ever has. Because when someone like 50 signals that there is more to come, people do not take it as empty noise. They take it as a serious heads up that the story they think is wrapping up may actually be getting bigger. With Diddy already facing massive public and legal pressure, JayZ's long-documented closeness to him no longer looks like an insignificant footnote. It looks like exactly the kind of detail that makes people start listening more carefully.
If you aren't aware, 50 Cent has been getting insane feedback from the Netflix documentary he made on Diddy. Sean Combs' The Reckoning is what it's called, and it's #1 all over Netflix, beating even Stranger Things. Diddy himself has responded to it, saying the stories are false, of course, denying everything, and even trying to do a cease and desist on the Netflix documentary. And after this Diddy documentary, a lot of people have been wondering who's the next person that deserves to get exposed. And JayZ is the one that a lot of people are pointing their finger at. And the reason why JayZ has been getting a lot of this type of backlash is because JayZ was really close to Diddy. At one point, Diddy was even calling him his brother, and that JayZ's the only one that can call him his real name, Sean, besides his mother.
Who is Sean approved from the world of entertainment? There's only one person.
Oh, go on.
And I call him Sean. That's JayZ. We call each other Sean.
Okay.
Yeah. Nobody else could call me Sean.
He's
And
the only person
there's
who's
not a
Sean approved.
There's not a single person that
outside of family.
That should be outside of my mother.
Okay, just
They should be calling me. Yeah, they should be calling me Sean.
So the relationship has always been close. They had those parties every single year. I think the Rock Nation brunch is what they're called. And Diddy was obviously the right-hand guy next to him at those parties. So a lot of people have this speculation that if Diddy did all that stuff and JayZ was that close to Diddy, that maybe there's something on JayZ's side that has been going on behind the scenes. Now, there hasn't been any solid proof yet, but Nicki Minaj has been going at JayZ for quite some time, talking about JayZ is manipulative and he steals, and he's been pushing a narrative, and that Rock Nation has control and power over a lot of things. And I can kind of understand where she's coming from to a certain extent. We got to remember when JayZ went up on the Grammy stage and said Beyonce never won Album of the Year and complained about that, literally the following year, Beyonce wins Album of the Year, which is just something like, if that doesn't show you that there is some power going on there, that there is something behind the scenes that JayZ controls, it's clear as day that it's all politics on who wins Grammys, who gets the better light and things. So that kind of opened my eyes, as to Rock Nation's power and how they manipulate things in the media. I'll never forget JayZ would get this like special treatment all the time when it comes to the media. I mean, Hot 97, when they interviewed JayZ, they literally rolled out a red carpet. They never did that for any other artist. So JayZ's always had this kind of special treatment when it came to things. But now the question is JayZ involved in crazier things? I mean, there's been a lot of speculation in a lot of different ways, and people are pointing their attention towards 50 Cent wanting him to do a JayZ documentary. And it looks like he might actually do it, because on Instagram, he posted a drawing of JayZ that kind of makes fun of his looks. And he posted that photo and he said this in the caption: "Please stop sending me stuff like this. I'm not going to post it." Basically making a joke, because obviously he posted it on his social media. But, and here's the interesting but in this, is someone commented on the post, and the comment got liked by 50 Cent. And this is the comment. It's from Dom KMDA. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Dom Kanmada. He commented saying, "My only question, he's next, isn't he?" And 50 ended up liking that comment. And here's the thing. I actually saw this on Twitter and X, whatever, Twitter X, whatever you want to call it. And I wanted to confirm, is this real? Because a lot of people Photoshop these type of things just to create drama and create this speculation. So I actually DM'd the guy himself, and I showed him the photo, and I asked him, "Hey, is this a real photo? Did 50 like your comment?" He said, "Hey, yes, he did." And I was like, perfect. Thank you for confirming. Thought it was Photoshopped. I will appreciate the response. And he said, "I was surprised as well. Didn't see that coming." So shout out to him for, responding to my DM and confirming that, the comment actually got liked by 50, because
Over the years, JayZ continued moving deeper into elite spaces, environments where entertainment influence, media power, and corporate access all exist side by side. Every time 50 Cent perceived that kind of power being quietly shielded from public view, he responded the way he always has, not necessarily with direct formal accusations, but with well-timed jokes, pointed online posts, and public jabs calibrated to make people stop and think. This time, however, the tone feels noticeably sharper. For what many observers consider the first time in a way that truly resonated broadly, 50 put out what appeared to be a clear warning to JayZ, suggesting he may have access to information or material capable of dragging the Carters into a very uncomfortable public conversation. People paid attention, because 50's reputation is not built on making promises he does not keep. His supporters believe he follows through. And that belief alone was enough to place JayZ and Beyonce at the center of intense public discussion almost immediately. From there, the conversation grew beyond just JayZ. Once people started asking whether he could be the next major figure to face serious scrutiny, Oprah's name resurfaced as well. Partly because 50 has spent years taking issue with what he sees as her selective use of influence. Specifically, his repeated criticisms of her documentary choices, her relationships within the industry, and what he views as an inconsistent approach to accountability, depending on who is being protected versus who is being exposed. To 50 supporters, all of those old criticisms now look freshly significant. Not because any one of them proves a single unified theory, but because together they suggest the pressure forming around Diddy could extend into a much wider circle of powerful, well-protected reputations and long-standing alliances.
They want to know how we're going to do it, how the public is going to take him. Is the public going to let him back in? And the public is not. The public is already canceling him. I don't believe the industry has canceled him yet. All those people who went to those Diddy parties, not one of them had came out and denounced what he has done. I haven't heard one of them. I have not heard one person denounce, well, man, let God handle it. Get the hell out of here. Get out of here with that. If that was your daughter, would you let God handle it? All those people, they ain't denounced him. They ain't definitely, they can't come forward and say, yo, I support them, because it would mess up their brand. It would mess up their brand. JayZ, we the only one could call each other Sean. Jay is the only one could call me Sean. I'm the only one could call him Sean. Get the hell out of here. If that ain't no fun boy stuff, but you ain't had not one person, brother, not one person sit there, denounce what he did, or
the narrative stretches even further when older criticisms involving Oprah begin resurfacing alongside all of this. For years, a number of Black entertainers and public figures have accused her, directly or indirectly, of applying pressure unevenly, mishandling representation.
The story widens further when older controversies involving Oprah are brought back into the frame. For years, a number of Black entertainers and public figures have accused her, sometimes directly, sometimes in more subtle ways, of applying public pressure unevenly, mishandling cultural representation, or operating within a system where certain people face intense scrutiny while others appear consistently shielded. Those grievances have circulated for a long time without ever gaining enough traction to seriously damage her standing. But 50 has pointed to them repeatedly as examples of what he calls selective accountability. That history matters now because his supporters see the current moment as a potential opening to revisit all of those old complaints under a much harsher light. Long-discussed controversies connected to her school, as well as persistent online theories that, even when partially challenged, never fully went away, are being pulled back into circulation. Under normal circumstances, those threads remain scattered and disconnected. But in a moment where 50 has already proven he can send one powerful figure into global scrutiny through a single documentary, people are naturally asking whether others with overlapping power and shared public alliances could face similar re-examination. What drives that belief is not any single definitive piece of evidence. It is the sheer density of the connections. Oprah's visible support of Beyoncé, her proximity to JayZ's business ventures, the shared appearances and mutual praise within the same elite circles. Each of those things, taken individually, can look routine. Taken together, supporters argue it reveals something closer to a tightly organized alliance structure, one that is only now being seriously examined because Diddy's collapse has cracked the sense of untouchability that long surrounded that entire world.
Beyonce didn't want to speak and does not speak to Brandy, and the truth of the matter is that she go back there with Monica and Kelly, and there go Patti LaBelle, and then there goes Solange, all right? And there's a reason why Solange is around as well, because if you guys don't know, for a while Solange and Beyonce actually were not on speaking terms, but they're back talking now, they're back cool, and basically Solange is around to keep Beyonce spiritually protected. Solange is the spiritual protector of that family. Don't get it twisted. Mama Tina is powerful. Solange is the most powerful list. You better ask some damn body, all right? Now, the reason why Beyonce ain't came to speak to Brandy, baby, is because Beyonce does not talk to anyone who used to sleep with JayZ, okay? Whether you guys know it or not, and I have to say allegedly, right? JayZ and Brandy used to talk back in the day, and by back in the day I mean like late 90s type stuff, right? Brandy always kept JayZ on the low back in the day because quite honestly he was too ugly to be out in public with. I'm just keeping it real. To claim him publicly, he was too ugly back in the day. Now when you try to search up pictures of JayZ and Brandy, you will find, hold up, let me see. Hold up, let me see, because I thought I had a picture of them two, Brandy and JayZ. Now this would have been from let's see, Beyonce, JayZ, Brandy and JayZ. Okay, there we go. Now this picture of them was in 2002. All right, and this was I think was at one of her album release parties, if I'm not mistaken. This was a year after Moesha rap, because Moesha went off air in 2001. Yes, he was dealing with Beyonce at the time as well, and shit, Blue Cantrell. He was, let me tell you, JayZ was laying it low and spreading it wide. JayZ was one of those dudes in the industry that, you know, you messed around with. He piped you down, but before he was really him, you did not claim him publicly because he was just simply too ugly. It was what it was. But JayZ was in love with Brandy then. He's not in love with her now, but he still has love and feelings towards her. He's one of those people that feels like once he done had you and once he done loved you, he always feels like he has like possession over you. JayZ is one of those kind of men, baby. I don't know if they told you. JayZ is extremely jealous, extremely controlling, and extremely possessive. That's another reason why. Hold up. Where'd the picture go? Wait a minute. Where'd the picture go? That's another reason why Beyonce up here. Wait. Boop. Anyway, y'all get the point. That's another reason why Beyonce, over the years, a lot of the music that she's made, it's always been with him. A lot of the remixes, it's always been with him or somebody that he approves of her to work with, okay? JayZ was so damn controlling, he didn't even want her father, talking about Matthew Knowles now, he didn't want her father managing her anymore, and he stepped in. And if y'all notice, when JayZ stepped in as Beyonce's manager, the music changed, everything changed, and the money started to get effed up. But that's another story for another day. We're not getting on that right now. We sticking with Brandy and JayZ right now. So they started messing around on the low in the 90s. Even to the early 2000s, they were still messing around. I'm not exactly sure which year the relationship officially ended, but just know that JayZ was just basically good for dick. That was what he gave. He gave big, thick dick. I don't know no other way to put it, but he was like, for the ladies that's watching, you know, like if you ever dealt with like a tall, ugly nigga with big pipe, you went to him to get piped down, but you would not like ever like claim him like that because he was just too fucking ugly. It was what it was. And before he really blew up, didn't nobody want to be seen with him like that. It is what it is. And quite frankly, JayZ dated a
Diddy and JayZ have long existed inside the same orbit, socially and professionally, sharing access to exclusive spaces, appearing at the same high-level gatherings, and circulating within the kind of protected environments where influence moves quietly rather than openly. That is one of the main reasons so many people keep focusing on closeness and proximity rather than waiting for formal accusations. Because in an industry built entirely on relationships, who you are near becomes part of the story once the public starts re-examining old alliances. According to the way 50 Cent has been framing things, that re-examination is already happening. He has suggested that the pressure around Diddy is not a contained situation. It is generating anxiety across everyone who shared those same rooms, those same circles, and those same power structures. That is why JayZ and Beyonce keep appearing in these conversations, not because this story formally charges them with specific wrongdoing, but because they are consistently linked to the same social layers, the same investment worlds, the same private events, and the same high-level entertainment access that now looks entirely different to people watching Diddy's situation develop in real time. And when figures like Ray J begin implying that major names may be concerned about unreleased material surfacing, the speculation only accelerates. Because in a world where public image is the most valuable currency a celebrity has, quietly stepping back or distancing from certain people can itself become a signal. And the more of those signals appear, adjusted public statements, altered narratives, managed appearances, traces disappearing from the internet, the more people start asking the same hard questions. Who saw warning signs and said nothing? Who had enough information to know something was wrong, And how many powerful people depended on collective silence to keep everything intact? That is where 50's warnings land with the most force. Not through direct accusation alone, but through the idea that in elite entertainment circles, being in the room is never considered a meaningless detail.
And he ain't show up.
Yo, he has like 20 now.
Oh, Lord.
He had like 18 since he been down. Look, he had one, bro. Hard Knock Life.
You're not wrong.
He was one. At the same time. He got them shits. He's like drinking. His pictures with him like things the cup.
Wait a minute. So you're saying the success is derived from the marriage?
I've absolutely been treated differently.
The accolades
Because he's no longer viewed as what, like a street or gangster rapper. Now he's viewed as a businessman, entrepreneur, family man.
And the biggest ones because of the position Beyonce's.
Oh, wow.
Right? You were connected to the biggest.
Jay got it for the music. Jay got it for the music.
You didn't see.
He deserved those.
I'm sitting there, it was like this, like Black excellence. They're sitting there like, yeah. It's a billionaire brunch. You're like,
I hate you, man.
unaware of anything going on here. This is the one time I'm gonna be with you niggas this year. Yeah. Come on, bro.
That's
crazy.
That's crazy. He's just looking at his watch during the whole Rock Nation prayer. Like, is it 3:30?
Yeah, it's almost time to get out. What the fuck is that? Yo, I feel like I'm normal again. Get me out of here.
Oh wow! So that's the deal he signed, huh?
Yeah, that's the deal. Like, the other ones didn't count as much as that one did.
Oh, yeah, before I forget this, we talked about Jay. Proximity to Diddy. You don't think he knew anything? He's seemingly around Diddy.
I don't know. That was a real suburb question.
I know, right?
Proximity. And the proximity.
Proximity. That's an SAT hit parade word. I learned that.
Do you think he fucking knew all of the shit that was going on? Then I was like
I don't want to incriminate myself.
I know, but the way he said it,
like I said,
no matter how you answer that shit, you snitching.
That was a nice kind of.
You asked the question like a fan.
hey, I grew up with white people, but one thing I know is how to get a black guy in trouble.
But it's a great question. Yo, just give him the Happy Meal before you ask him to snitch, bro.
He said, damn, they wasn't even drinking.
Speaking of, how the hell you pronounce
Le Chemin de Roi.
Okay.
It's the King's Path.
King's Path.
Chemin de Roi. Because I know Branson.
Yeah.
That's the one I pronounce.
Branson. That's the Branson lifestyle. You're going to be outside.
Biff, you're not worried that if you throw little and you don't throw out allegations, but like you kind of poke fun at them.
You just ask questions.
You're not worried that it comes back your way? Like people dig up your past and try to pull stuff up?
I don't got that shit in my past. I'm not.
Everybody got a little bit.
Look,
like, not that it's real enough.
I took a pill. But it was for me to perform better. Or to remember, buddy. I didn't fucking give her a drink so she forget what the fuck happened.
This is why what 50 Cent is doing is resonating so strongly right now. Not because it rests on idle rumors alone, but because so many people now see a dense web of relationships, carefully maintained reputations, controlled public narratives, and protected elite alliances connecting Diddy's legal situation, JayZ's prolonged silence, Beyoncé's carefully managed image, and Oprah's recurring controversies into one structure that, for the first time, is being seriously challenged. And 50 has made clear that structure no longer intimidates him. The commercial and cultural success of the Diddy documentary already proved one thing above all else. Once the public believes a previously untouchable figure can actually be brought into the light, the scrutiny does not stop with that one person. It naturally shifts to everyone who moved through the same world, whether the connection is social, professional, or simply a matter of long-standing proximity. Because in entertainment power systems, access is never treated as incidental or accidental. Once a major scandal breaks open, the quiet reactions that follow become almost as telling as the original story itself. Legal teams begin revisiting old matters. Public appearances are carefully reconsidered. Online content gets removed. Carefully worded statements replace previously casual ones. And to many observers, those silent adjustments do not reduce the speculation, they feed it. Because once people are convinced that 50 is still pulling at loose threads, every move made by anyone connected to that circle starts to look like part of a broader effort to get ahead of whatever might be coming. And that brings the hardest questions back around again. Who knew enough to be worried? Who chose to stay silent when speaking up would have mattered? And how many influential names could still find themselves pulled into the open if 50 keeps applying pressure? As long as he continues pushing, many people believe the spotlight is only going to get brighter. And whether the people in its path are prepared for that may no longer be a choice they get to make.